Hola a todos, bienvenidos a Derrumbando el Muro. Bienvenidos a otro episodio. Este episodio va a ser diferente. Estoy emocionada y al mismo tiempo nerviosa porque no sé cómo la audiencia tome este episodio, pero sentía que se tenía que hacer. ¿Por qué? Porque vivo con mi esposo, obviamente, y él ha sido gran parte de mi carrera. O sea, él fue el que creó la primera canción de introducción. O sea, si ustedes van al primer episodio y ven y escuchan la canción de introducción, él fue quien la creó. Apenas estaba él empezando su carrera de música y ahorita siento que somos dos personas completamente diferentes a como cuando empezamos nuestros proyectos, nuestros side hobbies, nuestros dream projects. Y él ha sido, ¿cómo lo puedo explicar? Él, cuando él empezó su proyecto musical, había muchas cosas que yo le decía de que, haz esto, haz esto, haz esto. Y él estaba de que, no. I'm an artist, I don't mix art with business. Y poquito a poquito, desde que empecé a crear el programa Construyendo mi Destino, he tratado de no ser su coach, sino más bien ser su esposa. Pero gracias a que me ha visto crecer, ha aceptado ciertas cosas de la manera más eficaz para crecer. Entonces, el día de hoy lo voy a entrevistar. Va a ser un episodio en inglés. Yo sé que él no es latino, pero pues se casó con una mexicana y siento que le va a servir muchísimo, en especial a aquellas personas que son artistas, a aquellas personas que tienen un side dream hustle y en especial a esas personas que no saben cómo salir de su zona de confort y ser ellos mismos, ser ellas mismas, pero poquito a poquito you have to break the shell. So, John, welcome to a Latin podcast. You gringo.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor to be on here. I've flirted with the idea before. I've been like, yeah, let me on your podcast.
Why do you want to be in my podcast if you know if it's in Spanish?
I feel like we have
By the way, he also has a podcast. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you have a podcast?
Because I have a band, and there's like
Who gave you the idea, though?
I mean, I guess you. I think who gave you the idea to have a podcast?
Myself.
You taking all the credit?
Yes. Yes.
I thought I told you.
No, dude, you did not tell me to have a podcast. Okay, so the idea of Derrumbando el Muro started because I started to get to know a lot of Latin Americans that were building amazing things here in the U.S. And coming from Monterrey, I just didn't have that impact, you know? Like, I didn't have that essence of like, whoa, being a Latin has this meaning in the U.S. because in Mexico, well, you're surrounded by Mexicans. So you have your pride in being Mexican, but not being Latin and in an international country.
Yeah, you guys have your own, like, it's like and I mean this in the most sincere way, it's like a powerful little club. Because it's funny, like, so I'm not from Los Angeles. I moved to LA, and it wasn't like I was looking for people from where I'm from to, like, get to know. But when you came to college, you gravitate towards people like you, right? And in the U.S., like, I don't know, everyone's kind of from different backgrounds and stuff. It's not as much of like a bonding thing. It's like I'm from Ohio, so like if I met someone from Ohio, like I'd be like, oh, cool, you're from Ohio, but I wouldn't like there would be wouldn't be as much of like a similar culture, I guess we come from that we bond over. Where you guys, not to say it like that, but Latins. When I noticed with you hanging out with you, I was like, I took like a year of Spanish in high school or something. Like, I didn't know what the Latin culture was really all about, other than like I don't know what you see on TV and stuff. And
Dos tacos, por favor.
No, I mean like Nacho Libre,
Taco Bell. I want some, yo quiero Taco Bell.
No, like literally it was like Nacho Libre with like Jack Black. it's like, oh, that's what Mexicans are like. They like corn, Not just kidding. But no, so I got here and I would see everyone, and you guys were like this powerful clan. Like everyone was like it was like a fraternity of sorts.
It is like a fraternity.
Yeah, and it was really cool, and like I always thought it was cool, but at the same time like odd at first. To where you'd be like, oh, a friend's visiting. And be like, oh, cool, like a friend. Like, how do you know them? Like, oh, they're from my city. but that would be like kind of it. Like it wouldn't be like you guys were like super close for any other reason other than the fact that you're both from the same place and you're here now. And I grew to like really appreciate that. It's like really powerful, and it's a great thing. Like I think in the U.S. especially, like people migrate here and they come here, and cultures are celebrated in a lot of ways. And I can see that in you, and I've seen that in this podcast and your brand and everything. Like it's very cool. It's very cool to see.
Thank you.
Some would say I'm envious a little bit. It's very nice to like know you have that kind of cultural support and appreciation.
Well, even when I went to Vegas for Funnel Hacking Live, which is a very, very, very American event, and surprisingly, there were a lot of people around the world. Like people travel from Dubai, from Germany, from Australia, for these entrepreneur event that was 4 days or 3 days, 4 days, depending on the type of ticket that you bought. But somehow I ended on a Latin American group, and they sold 5,000 tickets, and only 150 Latin Americans attended. So if you think about it, we're still like a minority, but somehow that minority finds each other. And like one Friday night, we all went to a bar. We're just all hanging out, getting to know each other. And it's just very nice knowing that, like, oh, you speak Spanish and immediately have something to talk about. Like, where are you from? Like, how do you got here? What do you do? Versus, I don't think people from, I don't know, if 30 people came from Cleveland or Ohio, I don't think they all found each other.
No, if I knew there was like a group chat of people being like for instance, let's just say I met you at this event, and I also met someone from Cleveland, and I got 2 texts. One text was like, hey, you should come with us to the bar from you. And the other one was like, hey, all the people from Cleveland are getting together. Like, I'd be like, yeah, I don't really want to hang out with just Cleveland folks. It's like a different thing.
You prefer to hang out with a hot girl?
Definitely that. But like,
just kidding.
It's more so like, I don't know. It's just like a powerful culture. It's, I've seen a lot of, trust me, folks, I've spent many dinners. Like, I don't speak Spanish very well. I spent many dinners just like sitting and smiling and nodding and laughing when everyone else laughs. But I still like hanging out with you. I still like hanging out with the group and like trying to see what I can understand, because it's a fun culture. It's very passionate. I love the music, and I love like what's cool about like when we go to Mexico and stuff, and your family and your friends and just the groups. Like everyone kind of knows the same music. Where I think in the U.S. it's very like obviously people know like the hits, like in pop music and stuff, but it's less cultural based and it's more like pop based. Where like I feel like in Latin America, it's like, oh, this song defined a generation and the next. You know what I mean? There's a long appreciation of the culture. Where in the U.S. it's like things are forgotten. It's always like the next thing, the new thing.
Trends.
And that has its advantages in the sense where. People look to the U.S. as like trend setting in certain ways, and like great creativity comes out of the U.S. I'm thinking music mostly, but like innovation, I think, because people want to stand out. But tell you what, when I see all you guys like singing Luis Miguel or something, and like it like brings a tear to my eye. Like I'm like, this is so amazing. Everyone's so happy and they like love each other so much, and it's like it's really a beautiful thing.
So when we met, we were both working for this company named Robises.
I don't want to name them. You should bleep that out.
Why?
I just don't want to give them credit on anything. I hate that.
But they're not going to get credit on anything.
I don't want them to be known.
They're not going to be known. Whatever. So we met when we were at this company. Let's call it the R company, even though I already said its name. And we didn't have any side hustles. We didn't have any side hobbies. Our hobbies were having fun in LA, basically.
Yeah, we were young. I mean, we
were young. We were, 24, 23?
Yeah. I mean, I always had music. It just wasn't like a career thing. And I think you had like hobbies, and like, I think fashion was like a big part of your personality. Like there was hobbies, but what we did on the weekends was just like fuck around, like, have fun with friends, socialize, go cool places.
Yes. But I want to talk about how you just started recording music. out of pure passion without knowing what's going to happen, and how it evolved from like being folk. And I'm not saying this because like, oh, like look at you, like he's so talented. No, I'm saying this because there's so many people that fall into the trap of, I want to do this and this is what people are doing, so I'm going to follow this path. But you somehow saw that like, yes, folk music is amazing, but that does not fulfill me 100%. I want something bigger. I want something more unique. I want something that has not been heard before. And I feel like so many people are afraid to break out of that shell, especially because you saw that with your music that you released, you got like 10,000 downloads. And that does not happen to every single artist. Like, it's something, hold on, sorry. It's something very magical. But then when you release your new project, which is for you even more way fulfilling, but the listens were not there at the beginning.
Yeah, they're still not there. But that's okay.
No, but it's still not there, but
it's different.
The validation comes from different places, that it's way bigger. And that's when you start realizing that quality over quantity, and eventually the quantity will come.
Yeah, I would say, so to kind of start from the beginning, like I always wrote music, and I thought like the one skill that I had, not like over everybody, like it's not like a competitive thing, but I noticed that I had an ability to write music and write songs where it felt very natural, and it was always very like true to who I was, I would say. And it felt good. Like it just felt like, I don't know, growing up, like my dad always told me, like, so my last name's Beach, and like he always said, like, Beach is our musical family. And I took that to heart. Like I really took that as like, if I don't get good at an instrument, because it was like my dream to like play guitar and sing, I'm gonna be sort of like a loser in a way. Like obviously not. Like don't think like that. It's unhealthy. But as a kid, you know, whatever you latch onto becomes a part of your identity. And that was a huge part of my identity. And I was like in a band in high school and stuff. But through college, I got terrified. Like I got scared of the world. And I was living in Ohio. Like there wasn't a lot of music opportunity whatsoever. I mean,
Sorry for interrupting, but this is where I say that watch Star Wars, because it teaches you how to choose fear over love. And fear is being Darth Vader, while love is being a Jedi. Oh, how do you call it?
A Jedi. Luke Skywalker on
Luke
Tatooine.
Skywalker.
Yeah.
Those are the two paths, if you think about it. Like, if you choose a path of fear, which is security, which is like, follow this path, this is where it's going to take you to a good life. But then somehow you follow it and it doesn't feel good. Like, it feels safe. It feels like life is going to be okay. But something inside of you does not feel like...
Yeah, you're forcing it. I always use the analogy, and sorry to go off on too much of a tangent, but like I discovered this not long ago, and there's a lot of ways to say it, and you may know your own version of this sort of metaphor, but to me it's like you're in like a pond or like a body of water, like, and there's two like streams or rivers, and there's one that's flowing in, there's one that's flowing out, and the one that's flowing in, you can see the top of it. And you like look at that and you're like, shit, like I have to swim up that. Like that's going to be so hard. But I know at the top, I can see the result. So let's say, for instance, like, your passion is art, or your passion is something that's a bit more non-traditional or less secure. But you're going to force yourself to be like an accountant, or you're going to force yourself to go into your family business, or you're going to force yourself to work construction, whatever that path is. And like you convince yourself like, okay, this is the end. Like I can see that. But you're swimming upriver the whole time. Like you're always, it's not like a gut feeling. It's like a smart thing. Like on paper, you look at it, you're like, okay, A plus B equals C. You know, I know I can get to that point. If I put in this effort with this amount of time, I can do this. And then there's the river that's like flowing down, and it's dark. You have no idea where that shit goes. But it's like, that's where you can move the fastest. And so like, I always think of like when you pursue a life in art or pursue your passion. And some people out there, like their passion is accounting. And that's awesome. And you're going to be wildly successful. You know, like that's really, And not to say it's easy. It's not easy in anything. Like everything's difficult. But I think more traditional routes, if you're fortunate enough to have that as a passion, great. I mean, make the most of it and do your thing. But to me, that wasn't the case. Like music was always it. So I go to college and I like did marketing for a year. I thought like, I'll do marketing and I will use music somehow. Like, did you ever watch the show 2.5 Men?
Of course.
Yeah. So like when I was
My
a kid,
ex used to love it.
I don't know. I was like a little kid and I remember thinking like, oh, California, like he writes music for commercials and makes a bunch of
Jingles.
money. Yeah. I thought like, well, maybe I can find a way to like make money in that and marketing and then use that as like a stepping stone to start.
Have a house in Malibu and
I didn't
have chicks all over.
I didn't dream that big. I just thought like, okay, I can somehow use my creativity in this. And I fucking sucked at that. Like that was not what I was passionate about. And I got scared to death. Like I was just like, oh my God, if I don't get a degree, if I don't pursue something challenging, then I'm just going to be, worthless in a way, which is just how I thought at the time. And so I studied engineering and, forced myself through that. But the whole time, I mean, I had fun, but it was just, it was a great part of my life. But I definitely didn't have any idea of what like intuition was or.
Because they don't teach that.
No, but for a good reason. Like, so, I mean, hold on. Like, so
okay.
if I'm a kid and I'm in Ohio, if I have a kid in Ohio, right? And my kid's like, I want to be a rock star. It's like, all right, like I'm responsible for this kid's life, get something secure. And honestly, like, I don't regret any of it because like now I can fund projects myself. I'm not desperate for anything. I'm not working night shifts and like, doing anything I can to scrape by just to have a music career. Like now I'm a little bit older, you know what I mean? Like I started later. I started like recording music at like 26, 27. But, I think everyone's path is different no matter what it is, but always recognize you have a passion and that you will pursue it somehow.
Yes, of course. I'm not saying like, oh, you're 15, go all in on your dreams. Like,
but do that, but make sure that you don't like sacrifice everything else. I don't know. Everyone's journey is different. I'm not giving advice at all.
No. I know. No, and I'm not giving advice either of like, fuck college, like don't do it. No, because it gave me the life that I'm living right now.
College,
you know what I mean? Like for me, my USC experience was extraordinary. Like I loved it, and thanks that I study engineering and that you study engineering, we met, and that's how we got married and everything. But it's for sure a compound of all the decisions that you make in your life, and make sure, like for example, saving or investing. That's something that I noticed that I thought a lot of people did, and apparently not that many people invest or not that many people save.
It's hard. I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think life has a weird way of, like for me at least. I think a lot of people. I mean, like the drummer in my band, Flo. Like he went to school for business and like he was working his first internship. And he was like just entering shit into Excel, and he was like, holy fuck, like no way, this is the rest of my life. And I remember getting a job after college, and I remember like signing the whatever offer. It was like $70,000 a year. And I'm like 24. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like I'm making $70,000 a year. Like this is money. Like I couldn't believe it. But then I remember my first week in the office and the things people like celebrated, I just couldn't relate. Like I was like, wow, like this is really like life sucking in a way.
If I'm being honest, like what did it for me was knowing what our bosses were making.
No. I don't even want to make it about money because I think we're going to contradict ourselves.
No, hold on. It's what our bosses were making for the lifestyle that they decided to live for that money. But they were miserable.
Well, okay, on the outside maybe, but like maybe on the inside they were really proud of it, right? Like
okay.
if you're in, like you may see me doing music till midnight, and I tell you the next day like I'm fucking miserable, But that's because it's like I'm in the throes of whatever I'm doing. Like at the end of the day, I'll be really happy. So say like those people, I don't want to judge them because to me it's like. Maybe I saw them as miserable because of stress, because of the immediate day-to-day needs and all that stuff. But when they sit back on a Saturday, they may have their little glass of wine or something and say, like, I'm really proud of the work I did this week. Like, it's difficult.
You are so right.
So I can't judge them in any kind of way like that. But for me personally, I knew that like, oh, this is definitely not who I am. I can't imagine the rest of my life like this. Like I will die. Like I remember thinking like I will actually die, which to me coming from Ohio, I thought like I felt like I don't know, am I just being a bitch a little bit? Like am I just being soft? Like toughen up, dude. Like this is what life is, and you know you work, which is true. Like throughout history, people do things that suck for a long time and don't live glamorous lives, but they take care of their family, and that's like their role, you know. And you enjoy things outside of that, but in this world we live in, and just with the talent that I thought I had, I think I have, and I'm pretty sure I do, like with songwriting, and then you get more exposed to what the music industry is like and what people fall in love with. And I was always into like more niche genres of music, and I found myself like really not committing, but like going all in, I guess committing, whatever. You know, being a fan of projects that I thought were unique, whether they were famous or not. And I wasn't like a hipster trying to find just like things that weren't famous, but I found what I liked, and I was like obsessed with it, and I appreciated it. And it was exciting for me in every single way to like learn about that artist and be part of that community in some kind of way. So,
Okay, so what I notice a lot, especially from ever since I started like this journey of building my dreams and building my career, my dream career, which is, again, I hate saying I'm a business coach because I feel like I'm way more than that. Because
dream fucking big, dude.
what?
Dream fucking big, dude.
Dream fucking big. And then I said like, oh, I'm a dream coach. And then a business coach told me like, oh, I don't think people are going to buy into that. And I'm like, fuck, then what should I be?
Fuck
and
them.
I know. But again, this is a type of journey that whenever you're building your dream career, you're going to bump into, you know, like other people's opinions, other people's judgments, other people's limiting beliefs, other people's insecurities.
Even your husband's.
Even my husband's, for sure. Okay. Jumping into that subject.
Okay.
So many mornings you told me, get a job.
I still will do that.
You still would do that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm saying this because the reality is that when you're living your dream, and I'm not saying it in a way to be irresponsible, like, oh, fuck everything, like just do what your heart says.
Yeah.
Like, yes, but at the same time, there was this knowing in me that I have to pursue this. Like, it felt like a calling. It felt like something that it was, my body, my mind, my heart, everything was just gravitating towards that. And anything that took me just a tiny little inch from that felt completely odd and wrong. And it's hard to describe that feeling when you're living through it because you have zero evidence. Zero. Like, when I told you about what I wanted to build, I had zero evidence because I have never built it before. Like, I had maybe the podcast, I have maybe the entrepreneur skills, the selling skills, and everything, but it was very long morning talks about what the fuck are you doing, and me being like, I wish I could explainly.
Well, let me add a little more context to this, because like I feel like from my perspective, there's a bit more.
Do it.
And so like basically, so you.
But this is how things happen. Like the goal is for me to share my perspective because I know people are gonna bump into these things where family or husbands or friends are not understanding.
Okay. There's a big difference between not understanding what your goals are and where I was coming from. And so that's what I'm explaining. And for people listening, like this is something I think you have to, when you're pursuing something that is non-traditional, people are going to judge you. People are going to question you.
Yes.
And like, that's kind of a good thing. Like it's actually, obviously, like believe in yourself 100%. There's an audience for everybody. I totally believe in that. I'm an example of it with like, you know, music I like where there's no audience, but I'm a huge fan. Like, anyways, so Ellie, you were working a corporate job, and we were chilling. Like we moved in together, but you always had your side business which I hate the term side business. I hate the term.
But it was,
I know,
because
no,
that's
but-
how I treated it.
But I hate the term hobby. I hate side hustle. I hate all. It's like it's who you are after a certain point. I don't think it's appropriate. Well, I think it's diminishing to say, oh, like for me with music, it's like, you know, I have a corporate job, I have a day job, and I fucking appreciate it so much because it like gives me all of the resources I need. But when I have to explain it to somebody, it's like, oh yeah, I have like my hobby is music. It's like, no, like my life is music. Like this is just what I do for money. You know, that's kind of how I want to say it, but it's hard to do that. But
This
anyways,
is what I do to pay the rent.
Yes, exactly. So anyways, you were in that situation, and then when you lost that job, I was like, all right, well, like this is your time. Like you're gonna take whatever 6 months, 8 months, however long.
It's been a year.
Yeah, but I didn't know how much money you had saved. Like I was like literally like looking at our bills and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, well, you know, let's take six months, whatever, you get your work permit, and then you'll get another job. But this is a great opportunity to get a head start. And then after like 10 months, I was like doing math in my head, thinking like, how the fuck are you still paying rent? Like, I know like you still have like I don't know where your money comes from. We're married folks, but like I don't like dive into her finances or anything like that. I just ask her. Like,
I just save a lot.
Yeah, I ask her like the 24th of every month. I'm like, yo, can you pay rent this month?
I'm like, yes, babe, no worries.
But
he's like, please, at least give me 3 months heads up.
2. Yeah. It's a fear, right? It's like living in fear. But like I'm not. And Ellie's always like, don't live in fear. Don't live in fear. And I think living in fear is a terrible thing. But I think having like boundaries or like the dotted line, like the warning track kind of thing. It's like, okay, I'm at the warning track. I should probably have a plan for whatever's going on. And to all this being said, Ellie, you've proven me, I wouldn't say wrong because I've always believed in you, but like you have done amazing with what how do I say this? You've done amazing things and you've surpassed, I don't want to say you've surpassed all my expectations, but you've gone above and beyond in a lot of ways. And I see what you've done, and it's awesome. It's helped me so much, and we can get into that. But
yes, please.
Yeah, but like, so I remember like these morning conversations. Like I wake up.
By the way, they were hectic. So I just want to be, again, this is a very real podcast. I want to be as real as possible, where there was crying involved. There were like just totally two different opinions.
No, it wasn't two different opinions. Like, okay, I guess, but like for me, like, okay, so I work all the time. It's like my day job and then music, and it's nonstop. It's all we fucking do is work. You work till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. I don't work till 10, 11 every single night, but the amount of effort I put in.
No, because you have to wake up the next morning for your full-time job.
Yeah, I guess I got to decompress a little bit. But we both work nonstop. And so my thought has always been like, look, you have, like when you're pursuing something, you have to limit the energy you're putting into the stress of getting by, which is why I think when I see musicians, and there's good and bad to this, you could say it inspires art, you could say it gets you moving or motivated or whatever, but I think there's a balance between like the amount of stress you have on like paying your bills or, you know, making sure you have some sort of like safety net of any kind or like whatever it is, health insurance, who knows. Making sure you have like your foundation while you're pursuing your dream after a certain point in your life. Like if you're like 17, fuck it. Like who cares? Like you got your parents, you got...
No, I will never tell someone like quit your job, leave from your savings and pursue your dreams, because I have no fucking idea how constant, how disciplined, how like strategic they are about the things that they do.
But you could be constant, strategic, and perfect and not be successful for like 5 years.
I agree with that.
And so in our situation, like also to be very real on this podcast, it's like, so I'm pursuing my dreams. I need to be able to fund those. Like music is expensive. I buy all kinds of gear and we have a studio and all this stuff. And so my worry was selfishly, like I'm going to have to fully support you to a point where I'm not going to be able to pursue my dreams. And so a lot of the frustration came from that, I want to say. But again, like just to be honest, folks, like I wake up, I literally don't talk to Ellie for the first like 30 minutes because I wake up pissed off every day. Like not like angry, but just like, I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do that. Like, oh, there's all this weight on my shoulders. Like it's just kind of, maybe it's a guy thing. I don't know. But I'm very ambitious, I guess. And I don't know, I have extremely high standards for myself. And so a lot of times I wake up with stress. And also I'm going into a work day, which is, the part of my day I look forward to is after that. But there's a lot of pressure on me with my work day. Like, I'm in sales. It's great. But like, there's still like, it's a lot on my mind when I wake up in the morning. So like, I wake up and I walk and whatever, and then I drink coffee and I'm usually nicer. But like on the days where I talk to Ellie right away the first thing in the morning. Yeah. Like, I'm like, yo, what's going on with this?
When are you making money? Let's be honest, Elisa. When are you making money?
Yeah, that comes up for sure. But I think
okay, so
hold on. Not that we're like a perfect couple. I think we have a great relationship. We have a great marriage, and it's awesome. I'm so thankful for that. Like it's amazing. We trust each other a lot. I think as a couple, you have to have trust in each other, and that comes with conversations like this. Like, it builds over time,
But also you have to understand, like, we are lucky that, I am lucky to have a partner where I can tell them my dream and they say yes.
Oh, we are lucky.
We are lucky,
Yeah.
even though that within the journey, there's days where fear just wins over.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
stress just wins over. I feel like that's very normal.
Yeah, and my advice to people, like, I've practiced this. I have days where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I should just, like, pursue a corporate career, stop spending as much on music, stop spending all this time doing it. Why don't I just go on vacation? Like, fuck it. Like, Ellie can do what she wants. And, like, when those thoughts come, like, that's where, like, the whole intuition and, like, your heart comes into play. And like, it's your brain. Like, your brain is like this safety net. It's like, no, like, don't take these risks or whatever. But your heart is always going to win. And so, like, kind of what we were talking about earlier is when you have something that you need to do, you need to do it. Like, I need to pursue music. You need to be a dream coach. You need to help inspire people, and like break down barriers that I think people hold up for themselves, whether they're like artificial or not.
So I think the hardest part for me was knowing that this is my calling, knowing that this is something that I need to pursue, but I have no idea how it looks like. Like, from day one, the only thing I had was a podcast that has been paused for 2 years. Like, that I have not published a single episode in 2 years.
It was 2 years?
2 years.
Wow, fuck.
But I still get the notifications of every time someone downloads an episode.
You have it set up to every time someone downloads?
No, but like, you get a monthly, weekly email, like, oh, you have been like 10 downloads, 15 downloads, 20 downloads. And I'm like, how the fuck are people still listening to these podcasts?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's a good podcast. People, and like, from my perspective, and most people probably know if they're listening to this, but like, people who have been on your podcast or listen to your podcast always tell me, like, dude, Ellie's fucking amazing. Her podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
And you have everyone always tells me, you make it so easy, like, with you. And sometimes I'll have guests on, and I'll be like, I'll leave the podcast and I'm like, oh my God, like, how was that? Like, was that okay? People always are good. I think we're both pretty good at it, but like, you inspired me a lot in that, in the podcast world.
Thank you. Well, so I had no idea what it looks like. And then I started the podcast. And of course, I did my research because I'm a chemical engineer. Like,
Nerd.
I'm just a nerdy experimental girl. And I was like, fuck. Podcast is the media that's the lowest to grow. That's why...
Slowest.
Yeah, what did I say?
Lowest.
Slowest. Well, you just add an S. Slowest to grow. I was like, fuck, that's not going to give me money. And then I was looking at Semilla, which was my entrepreneurial, like, fashion side business. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go all in. But something inside of me, even though I was working in that side business for 3 years, something inside of me told me, like, you are meant to teach. You're not meant to sell products. But that part of my calling, that part of my purpose, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Like, let me keep pursuing this. So during
Well, hold on. Let me ask you something. Did you feel you had to validate yourself to teach by building a successful business?
yes, 100%.
Yeah, which I think you did build a successful business in the sense of like you built an audience, you built people. I mean, we still have friends who like not even like friends that didn't buy shit because you were selling it. They bought shit because it was really cool. Like you curated really cool stuff and like going to the markets with you. And it's hard. Like building a fashion company. I mean, the margins are so low. Like to call it successful, I think is like. I don't know. To me, it was successful, like in a lot of ways. I was really proud of that. Really proud of you for that.
Thank you. I think I just realized that I was pursuing something for validation, not from the heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you wanted to be like a business owner.
I felt like if I was teaching about business, this business that I've been working for the last 3 years had to be successful, which is a limiting belief. And that's something that I start recognizing on my clients. Like, okay, this is a limiting belief. Whatever you're thinking. For example, sometimes you say like, oh no, it's just we need to have better production in our music. And I'm like, that's a limiting belief because you're not putting the value of the music that you're already creating. You're putting the value in the production.
I have always been, to defend myself here, like I've always been very open to the idea of our production improving through our journey. Like as a band. I think as an individual artist, it's harder to do that. Like if you're like what I used to do, like folk music, like that was, it's, how do I say this? Like you're going to work with a producer and you're going to make sure it's a high quality production because it's like just a name. I don't know if this makes sense, but like as a band, it's cool to like watch them get better from my experience.
Yes.
But
yes.
like as a
but
solo
then not
artist.
but then not publishing because you want it to be better.
Yeah, but I would never do that. Like at this, I know what you're saying, but like to defend myself, like I would, if you hear our album
You don't have
coming
to
out,
defend yourself.
if you hear our album coming out, like you can hear the development of production through that album.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, okay, going back to my point,
your point.
was it was that it was just so hard to prove that what I was gonna do was gonna, in quotation marks, function, or however you want to say it, because I was still in the experimentation phase.
Well, think about the tool that is. Like, if you can say, "Hey, I built the $5 million business or a $10 million business," you should, listen to me for advice. Like, that's the generic way of looking at it. But that's not the way you're approaching it. That's why I think Dream Coach is so powerful because, like, what you've done and that you are validated in is you've changed your life.
I did change my life completely.
And I see it, and like I'll say this, like if Ellie wasn't listening, I would just say, Ellie is the most positive, like almost freakishly positive and uplifting person to have around in the world. I am not that. I've gotten better at it. I'm a negative Nelly over here. Like I'm like, I don't know.
Bro.
Like I need stats to like validate things. I mean, not really in music, but like everything else in my life. Like I'm like, prove it. Or like, this sucks or something. Ellie's like always looking for the good in things and like, no, like this is a win because of this and you can learn from this and like whatever. Like you've taught me so much about how to like change your mindset. And that's a huge thing. I think that's like number one. Like don't wait to change your mindset, but while you're going on your journey, like really try to hone in on your mindset because stress sucks. It takes the life out of you. Whatever you can do to mitigate that, but just like you in particular, Ellie, you're like an angel in that way. And I can say this because you're my wife, but like you used to always tell me this, like you're a light, like you are a light, like when I get dark, like you're a light, like you actually make my life better in every single way with like the way you think and do things. And so when you say I'm a dream coach, like that is a priceless thing to have someone in your life who you can go to. Not as a therapist, not as anything else, other than just like a vibe and like offer some advice and do the research or whatever you do. Like it's rare. It's really rare to find someone like you who has that kind of outlook on life. So
thank you, baby.
There you have it. Yeah, it's
thank
the
you.
first major compliment of this.
Well,
and the last. No.
Well, what I do have to say is that, like it wasn't perfect at all. Like it was a lot of ups and downs. It was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of like, fuck, I thought this was gonna work.
Oh, it still is. It's always
Like
that.
fuck this. I thought this was the amount that I was gonna like pay rent with my income, not with my savings. And it was a lot of like trial and error of, well, I think this person is going to buy into my program and didn't. Okay, now this person is going to buy into my program and didn't. And it was a lot of like understanding why not, why yes, what can I improve on my program to make it better? What can I improve on my strategy to give more value? And it was a lot of testing, but to your point that like, oh, you can be creating this while you're working like a full-time job and have it as a side hobby, or a side hustle. What I was trying to run away from is feeling that this is a side hustle, but I wanted to prove that this was worth pursuing as my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I guess.
And it's a lot of mixed feelings because for sure, was it messy? 100%. Was it the best option? For me, it feels like, but my bank account might not reflect it. Like, it's just things that don't make sense. But if you, from all the multimillionaires and successful people and artistic people that are successful and have made money from their art and everything, every single person that I have studied, their path at the beginning didn't make sense.
It never does. Like, it's also like, I mean, think about, to bring it back to music, it's like, oh, I'm going to build a career out of making music that people like so much that it's going to fund my life. Like that, you say that out loud. It's like, it sounds ridiculous, but at the end of the day, it's what you believe in. And if you feel talented enough and you feel like you can do that, like there's really no other option. Once you open your mind up to that, it feels dangerous. But like, if you get to that point where you know, like, this is it, this is what I have to do, like, you're kind of like, you have to, like, you owe it to this life that you have on earth. Like, this is it.
But there's going to be bumps in the road.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. That's kind of what makes it pretty. That's what makes it poetic, especially in something like it's artistic.
So poetic, actually, because something that we were talking about breakfast is that sometimes the reason you have bumps in the road is for you to tell those stories and laugh about it for years and years.
Well, it makes you appreciate everything, you know. If it just happened overnight, like if all of a sudden you created like an Instagram page for Derrumbando el Muro, like if you did that and all of a sudden the next day you woke up and you had 100,000 followers, like, what is that? You know, it doesn't feel validating, but like in the beginning you get one DM like, hey, I like your music, or hey, you've really helped me with my lifestyle or something. Like, that is, those little wins, man. Like, there's no better feeling in the world when a complete stranger reaches out to you and says like, thank you so much. Like, I listen to your podcast, or I like your music, or whatever it is. You have a great voice. I got that the other day. That was really nice. You know, like those kinds of things. Like,
you got a great voice.
Yeah. For some reason, it means more coming from a stranger.
Of course. When it comes from the wife, it's not the same.
It feels nice, but you doubt it for sure. Can we take a quick little break?
Yeah, why?
I didn't prepare. I have to use the restroom.
Yeah.
Okay. Just pause it real quick.
Okay, we don't remember where we left off, but one of my follow-up questions, and that I wanted to talk to you about, was that at the beginning you were a little bit, not a little bit, actually a lot, mixing art with business. And I want to know your perspective of how you thought at that point and how you had this revelation the other day, aka yesterday, of how you feel like you're not taking seriously, like you're taking your art seriously but not as a business seriously. So yeah. I want you to tell like that whole story, because that's the whole point of my, like, of me being a dream coach, of, hey, your dream can be your income if you treat it seriously.
Yeah, I think well, I think in the beginning I didn't like to think about business at all. In the beginning I was very like, oh, I just play guitar, I write songs, they're acoustic. And the first time I met with a producer who you connected me with, like literally, just so folks know, I'd never be making music where I'm at without Ellie. She like pushed me to do it. So listen to her. She's a very good dream coach. Here I am. My life has completely changed. But so I just was like, okay, I play guitar. I write really cool songs. At least I think so. And I listen to a lot of music, and the music I listen to, which isn't like as popular sometimes, I thought like the songs were just like brilliant in so many ways, and I was so inspired by them, and I wanted to become a better songwriter. But I thought I had something. Like, I thought I have the potential to write a song like this or make an album like this. And
But explain everything.
I will. And so, you know, when I first started, I remember telling people like, man, like if only my friends and family listen, like I'd be super happy. Like whatever. Like when I first start making music, it's just for me, and I don't know. Like, whatever, who cares? Like, if people listen, like, that's not the life I'm going to live, blah, blah, blah. And so I met with the producer, and I played in the songs, and he was, like, a huge fan. I thought for sure he was, like, lying to me. I thought he just wanted to, like, get paid or something because you have to pay for production. And then he gave me, like, a super good deal, and he just, like, reached out to me. He's like, dude, I really think, like, you have a lot of talent, and we can make some great songs out of this. And I know you want to just make demos because I first went through them just saying like, hey, I just want to record like basic demos so I have them. Like I can show like I remember like actually my grandma was in the hospital. My grandma was in the hospital, and she like looked at me, and I thought she
sent you a text.
She was like on death's door, and she's like, I never heard your music. And I was like, fuck me. Okay, well, I'll record some shit for you.
But your grandma was a big part of your childhood because she raised you in so many other ways.
Yeah, she's like an angel, absolutely. And so I thought like I owed it to her and like whatever. And so I threw it with the producer. I just said like, hey, I just want to record some basic shit, like, you know. And then he like talked me into actually doing it. And I remember like I had released one song on Spotify.
This was when? 2021? 2022?
Yeah, 21, 22.
I think it was 2021. A year after COVID.
Nah, it's 22.
Are you sure?
I don't know. We can go back and look. Listen to Yellowtail Sashimi by John Beach on Spotify.
I'll look at it right now.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was like, so we go through the whole production process, whatever. And I took it very seriously because like I believe if you're passionate about something, like, you can't not put everything into it, right? And so we finished it. It sounds great. It was really cool. And I put one song on Spotify. But I didn't want to tell anybody because the way Spotify works is you have to release music to it, and then you can claim your page, essentially, and then you can promote everything. And the whole goal with, like, at that time especially, it was, like, to get on an editorial playlist by Spotify.
This is a song. And it was released in...
Wow, that sounded great. That was, like, a great preview.
Go to... How do you view song credits? Or how do you see when it was recorded?
You just go to albums and it shows years.
Really?
Yeah.
Explore John Beach.
Just go to discography. It should say years.
Discography? Dude, you have 100,000 downloads. Or listens, whatever.
On Yellowtail, yeah. I think I'm like...
2022. You're releasing in 2022.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we get there, like the mindset thing, the business versus just like a passion thing or whatever. Like, so the first day, whatever, that song, the first song came out, I put it on Spotify, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't want anyone to promote it because I wanted to release the album the next week, or the EP, because it was 5 songs. And I wanted to be able to like submit the editorials and do like actual promotion. I had zero fucking plan. I had no idea what I was doing. And that first day that it was out, someone found it. Like, I think Ale did, who you originally started this podcast with. And she's like, one of my best friends just released this song. Well, it was the nicest thing in the world. And like within 24 hours, like I had so many people messaging me saying, like, I love this. This is so amazing. Like, why is this so good? Like all this, like so much attention on Instagram and stuff.
So much love.
Yeah, so much. And like nobody knew I was fucking doing this. And I didn't expect anything. Like it's like, I don't know, like too much humility, I guess, in a way. And, but
which is great, but at the same time, if you want to pursue your dream, that does not work.
No, it's not going to magically happen. I mean, in this case, It kind of did, which is what's crazy. So, like, within a month, I had like 20,000 monthly.
So, I am a firm believer that whenever you're pursuing your dream, God, the universe, or whatever you want to believe in, gives you a little taste of what you can achieve.
Possibly.
Because the road is fucking rocky.
Yeah, it's a long one.
It's a long one. So you have to like hook yourself to that first taste, to that first like winner's, how do you call it? Like first winner's luck or
beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck.
Yeah.
Because
that's what it was.
That's what's gonna impulse you, like impulsate, or how do you say it?
It's gonna like drive you to pursue it.
Catapult you.
Yeah.
To fucking go for it.
What?
Nothing's a scam about that I have not paid my toll.
Oh, I get those all the time. But yeah, so anyways, like I released, like, so that song goes out and like people were like all over it, which was really nice. And so I posted like a couple things about it. I had no plan, put the EP out, and I got so many listens, like I don't know, so many people. And I always felt like that music was very generic in a way. Like I loved it. I loved the songwriting, but I felt like it wasn't like different. Like I thought I could do more. Like my dream was always to write a musical or, you know, create like a bigger production sort of thing. And folk's very fun. And I always kind of look at it like I'll always be able to write folk. I won't be able to do something like different forever, you know, because it takes so much more effort and you have to have a team and you have to like really build something.
Dude, I'm going right now to someone's profile in Spotify that's already signed with a label and has the same listens as you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. No, if I, and that's the whole business mindset. Like, look, if I in the throes of that, like, if I would have pursued a label, I could have gotten some sort of deal. Like, maybe it wouldn't have been that great. Who knows? But I think the numbers at the time would have shown. Like, people were messaging me like pretty consistently. It was a very cool feeling. But I was like, damn, I want to do something bigger. And I didn't have I wasn't mentally prepped to like take that on. Like, again, like my mindset going in was like, this is for my grandma. Like, I'm just going to like make this. And it was received much better than I had ever expected. Like crazy in a weird way. So then like fast forward through that time, like I got inspired to start a new project and like everything fell in line. Like I met someone like Neo, the bass player in Celestial. My band is called Celestial, CLSTL, by the way. It's like an acronym. So quick plug. But I met like the bass player who's like a co-writer and everything at a random show I went to by myself.
So I have always said that John is one of the luckiest guys I ever met because there's always serendipity in his life.
Yeah.
And in this case, first show he goes by. Seriously, because I told him, this is my business mindset. Like, your network is your net worth. And so many people hate that quote. So many people like go against that. But the more I grow, the more I pursue my dreams and live my dreams and grow my dreams. I'm 100% believer. So I told John, like, bro, you just need to be more involved with the music industry. Like, you cannot just expect that you're gonna make a full music career from your apartment, like writing your songs.
Some people do. It's just like, I think it's what you want. Like, I think the world works, or the universe works in a way where like you've already planned this.
But
and maybe that's like caused you to hold yourself back a little bit.
Sorry, this is the first podcast when I'm gonna be like interrupting because I'm dealing with my husband. So with other people in the podcast, I would be like more politically correct or whatever. What?
That's just funny.
This is just how I deal with my podcast. You've never been in my podcast.
I'm impressed.
And you have never listened to it because you don't know Spanish.
I have listened to it. I listened to Ashley. She spoke in English.
Yeah. Okay. Well, even Jesus had disciples. Like
disciples? What?
Disciples? Or how do you call it?
Like doubters?
Discípulos.
Jesus definitely had doubters.
No. The 12 people that went to the last dinner.
Yeah, disciples.
Disciples?
I'm not, yeah.
Okay. Even Jesus had disciples. Like, even Jesus had a network. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
Like, it is valuable. Like, when you're growing your career, when you're growing your dreams, you have to, one, put yourself in bigger rooms just to understand how people fucking grow. And two, when you grow your network, there's other people that see things in you that sometimes you don't see at the moment. But because you are that person.
Yeah.
Like, you truly are that person.
Yeah.
And actions, sorry. Actions and being speak louder than words. So I see a lot of people saying, like, yes, I am this, I do this, da. It's like, instead of talking about how much you do, just fucking be that person and people are gonna see it.
Facts. Yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's why I am like, go show yourself, be at events, be everything. Because
But be yourself.
Exactly. No. That's what
But,
I'm saying.
people
Like,
get
be
so
yourself.
annoying. People get so annoying. They're like, "Oh, I'm here to network," and I'm like, "God damn it, that's the most annoying fucking thing to hear." Like, from my perspective, like if you go to a music event, you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm just here to network," and my friend's playing. It's like network.
No,
like
you're
there
here to make your genuine relationships.
No, you're there to just enjoy the world you love. You know, I love going to shows, even if it's a shitty show. I like going to watch, like, it could be the worst show in the world, but like I'm watching like how the sound guy's working. I'm watching like, you know.
But because you are that person. Again, let's go
Yes.
back to being.
Yes, but what I'm saying for the listeners is like, don't think like, oh, I want to be a business coach, so I'm going to go to a business coaching event and talk about how I want to be a business coach in like a literal way, like or in like a non-genuine way. Just be yourself. Like, if you think shit's interesting, go be interested in it. You know.
Okay,
like,
an example: Funnel Hacking Live, entrepreneur event, one of the biggest entrepreneur events in Las Vegas. Every time I heard someone speak in Spanish, do you think I was not afraid of like being like, "Oh, hey, my name is Elisa. I also speak Spanish."
I don't think you were afraid to do that. From knowing you, I think you're like, you hear Spanish, you're like, you look right. Oh, yeah.
No, hold on. It's just like a Band-Aid. You just have to rip it off. Like, the more... Okay, so this is my secret when talking to people. The more you think about it, the more you're going to doubt it. So if your first instinct is to ask, "Oh my God, where are you from?" Don't overthink it. Just go and ask it. Like, the other questions, the other intentions, the other conversations, if the conversation was just 10 seconds, then it was just 10 seconds and fuck it. But with the right person, the right things, the right questions, the right topics, it's gonna come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's because you're okay. I always think of this, like, if I have to give a speech or something that's intimidating, like speeches are scary, I think, to most people. If it's about something I don't know much about, I'm like terrified. I'm gonna be nervous, all this shit. But if it's about something I love, like if you told me to even getting on a podcast, like, oh, get on a podcast or to go give a speech about, you know, your life and music, whatever. Like, I'll be nervous, but once you start, it's easy. So like when you go up to talk to somebody, if it's like a similar interest, you know, even if they're famous, even if they're already at like a next level, like you're gonna still be yourself because that's what you're doing. Like, and whether you're a business coach who's just starting, or you're just starting your business, or you're just starting your career and whatever, like you're doing the same thing that people who are at like a major level are doing. Music, for example, the people at the bottom, which is a terrible term, but whatever, people who are like don't have a lot of listeners or they're just starting, they're writing songs, they're producing songs, they're working with mix engineers, or they're mixing their own music, whatever that is. Like, they're doing the same exact fucking thing that people who are at the very top are doing. So like, if you're just genuinely yourself, like, yeah, you may have nerves or like resistance, but just know that like you're part of that same team. Like, that's the clan. And some people are gonna be dicks, you know, and people always like, there's egos involved and stuff, but fuck that. Like, you're just gonna learn. Like, there's been a lot of situations where I felt very uncomfortable talking to music people, and it is what it is. But I've learned, and I've found out who I am in this and who I want to be, and you know, I think you have a great point. Of just fucking go for it. Like, don't. Be yourself. And being yourself
Be genuine.
means, but being yourself means, oh, I'm interested in this. This person is someone
Curiosity
I look up to.
based.
Yes. Like, I genuinely just want to know. The same way you'd pull out your phone and Google something is the same way you should go out and talk to somebody.
No, and seriously, like the two people that I interviewed, which was Esteban, go and listen to his episode, and which was Carlos, go and listen to it. Those two episodes, you have no idea how much value I've grabbed from. Like, Esteban.
He's the one. He's the artist guy.
No.
Oh, from the funnel hacking.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And those two episodes, I go back and listen to them, And every time I listen to their episodes, I get something new.
Yeah.
For real. Like that type of value. Because from Esteban, he told me, Elisa, I just have to tell you something. There's not that much competition on the top.
No. Yeah, I agree with that.
And when he told me that, I was like, what do you mean by that?
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk.
And he was like, not that many people dare to be at the top or work to be at the top.
Yeah.
And from Carlos, like, the main thing I got was be obedient to your calling. Be obedient in every single way.
Yep.
And those two things as a combo, like, for example, so my Construyendo Mi Destino, my program, is $1,000, $111. No,
$1,111.
Thank you, John.
You can say it in Spanish.
$1,111. $1,111. And some of my friends were like, don't you think that's expensive? Don't you think you should be more affordable? And at the beginning, I was like, to who?
Dude, you should talk to music producers.
No, and at the beginning was, to who should it be more affordable? And the reason it's that price is because I've done the job. I've networked with the people. I inserted myself in bigger rooms. I invested on my mentorship. I invested on the spaces. I invested on the actions, on the time, the energy. Like,
let me interrupt here for a second. Like, because most people, and this is for anyone out there, if you think you want to do something, music's a great example of this, but like most people, and this sounds harsh, but most people suck. So think about Los Angeles. Like, LA is a massive city, and it attracts...
It's a Shark Tank.
But it attracts everybody. Like,
yes.
Anyone who has an interest in something. So which means everyone...
It attracts the goldfish.
Whatever, yeah. Like, it attracts people who are... like from crazy to crazy talented. Like everyone wants to be an actor or wants to be a musician or producer or whatever. Like, there's so many people doing that, and you realize like there are very few actually really talented people. In every space, that's the case. You go work at a corporate job.
I think there's a lot of talented people, but there's not that many disciplined people.
Discipline, yeah, but usually results are determined by your discipline.
Yes.
Like, you have to be committed. It's like, you meet people and like, I don't know. It's just, it's very eye-opening when you see, like, for instance, that guy saying, that, whatever. Like, you'd be surprised kind of with, like...
there's not that much competition on the top.
How few people actually are good at this? And I think it's the same with everything. Go to any company and see how many people are actually good at their job, actually committed. Like, it's few. And so if you have the commitment, if you have the passion, like, you will outstand eventually if you have the discipline. You could be starting late, you could be starting early. It doesn't matter. Like, you need, if you commit to that and are real with yourself on your skill set. A lot of people are not out there being real with their skill set and their value. They're overvaluing themselves with very little like practice.
I have to put an example for this, like the perfect example that came to me on the right time, on the right place. I was talking with a friend from Mexico that he sells life insurance or savings, also savings accounts.
In Mexico, they're the same thing.
Something like that.
It's a little sketchy.
No,
that's
John...
the American judgment on that. I hear these stories and I'm like, what's he do?
Okay, whatever. And his job is to... So for anyone that's out there, there's cold A audience, warm A audience, and
cold
hot...
A?
Cold audience.
Cold audience?
Or cold clients.
No, I just want to make
Leads.
sure you were saying cold.
Cold, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Cold leads, which are the ones that you need to educate because they have no idea what you're selling.
Yep.
Warm is they know what you're selling, but they don't know who you are. And hot is they know who you are, they know what you're selling, but they just have not bought. So his job is to attract either warm or hot clients.
Close.
What do you mean close?
Is his job to like close?
Yeah, I mean for people to buy from him.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I see, yeah.
So he has to see that you have a good profile for you to buy into his product.
Yeah, life insurance, they do that credit checks and
Exactly.
whatnot. Yeah.
And he says that 6 out of 10 or 5 out of 10, they show that they have this glamorous life. They show that they have this like Instagram worthy, like, oh my God, I'm at the peak. But then he realizes that everything that they show in Instagram, they're just in debt.
Yeah.
Fully in debt.
Yeah, most of the world is a facade.
Which for me is like, what the fuck? Like, at what point is it more valuable to be in debt and to show that you have that Instagram life versus truly living out of your heart and building something that you're proud of?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like, again, to my point, like, it's a great example because, like, yeah, most, I hate to say most because I don't want people who've actually achieved something to think they're part of this category. Like, I'm not talking about people who've actually, like, made it, put in the work, all those kinds of stuff. But
I don't think those are the type of audience that listen to my podcast, by the way.
well, whatever. I mean, everyone's at a different stage, and we've all been there. Like, where, like, you know, I'm going to make an Instagram reel.
No, hold on. Like, for example, I didn't pay my car in full. Like, I still owe money for my car. I pay it in 6 years.
That's everybody, though.
Yeah, because American credit. But I'm not there showing up my car like, fuck yeah, I earned this. You know what I mean?
Even if you did. Whatever.
And even if I did. But, like...
I'm talking more about people who, like, they think they're better than people.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank
you
like,
for
it's like there's
specifying
like
that.
But like that's in business all the time. Like, it's for, again, the only thing I can talk about is music. But I've had producers who are nobodies, and not to be a dick, like not like people who, like people I really respect talent wise, but they're not at the level yet where they can charge as much money as they have quoted me. And I've gotten quotes. I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, this is an insane amount of money for where both of us are at. You know what I mean? Like, there's just there's a lot of like I don't want to say fake it till you make it. I hate that term. I hate fake it till you make it. I think fake it till you make it has value in the sense of like you are a rock star. You are a business coach. Like, own that shit every day because it is. You are doing this, like I said, the same thing that people at the top are doing. Like, that's a good fake it till you make it model. But the whole like pretend you are at a certain level when you're not, like when it comes down to paper, you know, when you're like writing it down, like for instance, like,
well, imagine me, like when I was jumping into this, like, what am I building? At the beginning it was like, well, maybe I'm a business coach. And then I started seeing like so many profiles where like 100K in just 10 days.
oh my God.
Like $1 million month. All my clients are making 50K, and I'm like, well, I cannot prove that.
Well, that shit is also ridiculous. Like, what kind of audience do you want? Like, you know, if you're
going to
limit your audience,
did
like,
not wanted a money pursuing audience.
well, think about this. Hold on.
You want to build wealth, but you don't want to build wealth as a quick win. You want to build wealth because you know that's the byproduct of being amazing.
Well, dude, so two things.
Extraordinary life.
Two things. I hate when people talk about money. Like, when people talk about, like I listen to your podcast playing all the time, and these, like, you know, people are like, I made $500K this month or whatever, and it's like, it's meant to inspire you, and like, that's cool. I think in certain cases, like, look, showing it's possible is a great thing.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, when you're part of that, like, and I love, like, when comedians make fun of this, when they say, like, everyone on my team makes 50 grand last month, like, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, all right, you're limiting your audience to people who are insecure, because what's going to happen is you're going to attract people who feel like, well, I want to make 50K this month, and they have no sense of foundation or identity or whatever like that, and they're insecure, and you're taking advantage of those people, and it's really, really fucked up, in my opinion, to, like, sell people on this, like, if you do everything I say, you're going to make 50 grand this month, and if you come up short, then that person, that coach or whatever, can say, like, well, really, I think you need to be a higher performer in this way, and tell me about your life. And they'll find things to poke holes in to say, like, well, this is why you're not successful. And they just beat you up. And it's like, that's a really evil thing to do, in my opinion. There's a lot of that out there of, like, business coaches or like these people who are, like, jacked and they're on fucking steroids or something. And they're just like, yeah, like, my guys, like my team, we would always do XYZ, blah, blah, blah. We wake up, we have Fitness Monday, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, cool. But you understand, like, at least from my perspective, I see that as
FYI, my husband is kind of a hater.
no, I see that. I mean, I'm just being completely honest. Like, this is why I believe in you, Ellie, because like you're not like this. I think what you're doing when you're selling that sort of approach, you can cut this out if you want.
No.
But like, I think what
it's
you're
an
doing
unfiltered podcast.
is they think they put on this facade that they're selling to successful people. I think what they're doing is they're selling a dream. They're selling like a how do I say it? It's like their target audience is actually not what they say it is. Their target audience is like a insecure group of people who are desperate, and they're going to take their money and manipulate them in some kind of way. I don't think it's like actually targeting people who are close to that number. Like, say I'm making $10K a month, and I want to make $50K a month.
Well, but imagine how I felt, and I feel like so many people feel like this way when they're growing their dreams.
Me a hater.
What?
You call me a hater?
You are. You are.
No, I think I'm part of the group of people who
every time. Okay, parenthesis. Every time I told you, like, baby, you should be doing this to grow, you're like, fuck that. Fuck that.
Like what?
Like, you should be posting more. You should be.
I never said fuck that to posting more.
You should be creating more reels. But fuck social media.
Maybe in the very beginning.
Yes.
We've changed, folks. We're very
okay, and we'll jump into that in a second. But I feel like so many dreamers out there feel the same way. We're like, oh fuck, like they're making this amount of money, they're making this amount of followers, they're making this, and my whole goal is, if you have that dream in your heart, everything is possible.
Yes.
You just have to pursue it. You just have to believe in it. And there's strategies to grow it.
But you need soul and you need love.
But that's why the main requirement is you have a fucking big dream that you cannot stop think about it.
And that's why I believe in you. You know what I mean? Like that, exactly. I think a lot of times they break it down to superficial things. And that's where you attract the wrong type of people. And you're just selling. You're not like actually building a community and like this beautiful thing.
But I do have to say that every single decision that I made was not just to leave my dream job, but was also to build wealth.
Yeah, I know that. Obviously, that's like you have to do that.
You have to do that.
But I think.
But the wealth does not come instantly.
Yeah, like winning the lottery feels a lot different than like building your dream business and, sitting and looking at a sunset with a martini. That's like a fucking sweet moment, right? Like, but if you just win the lottery and you're sitting in this mansion, you're like, what else can I buy? It's a different thing.
Okay, so that's where I want to jump into business. I don't want to call it business strategy because, yes, it's business strategy, but at the same time is growing your dream strategy. That at the beginning you were like a little bit going back to the topic where you're like taking your art seriously, but not the business seriously.
Yeah.
But I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, all right.
So let's take a break, but remember this because
my business strategy.
I tend to forget it. And who gave you the idea? AKA your wife.
I think people know that's why I'm on this podcast.
Okay, let's pause.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. So what I mean about taking the art seriously, but not the business, is that I see so many entrepreneurs and so many dreamers focusing so much on their product that they're not focusing on building community, on building an audience, on building relationships, on basically selling themselves, which selling themselves sounds like very businessy. And I feel like that's the reason at the beginning you were like, it's not about selling myself. It's about like creating amazing music. And like, yes, that's the core of it. But the way to grow is it's by creating content, making relationships, building an audience.
It's a couple things. I think you have to have a foundation. Obviously, like you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're fucked. Sorry, folks. Like I think you have to do whatever you can to believe in the overall mission. Now, whether or not you think you're there
Nobody
yet,
else is going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
yeah, but like whether or not you think you're there yet is different than believing in that you're going to get there, right? And what I would say is like start now when it comes to the marketing, or I hate the term. Again, like it sucks to think about it this way.
Target audience.
No, I hate the term target audience so much.
John, every time I tell him, like, but what's your target audience? He's like, Ellie, no, fuck that. Like, there's no target audience.
Well,
Whoever loves my music.
I've
And it's
adapted.
like, dude, but you have to understand, eventually when you grow, you're going to start realizing, like, oh, somehow I attracted these type of people.
Yeah, and it's not always what you expect to, which is what's funny. Like the people who've like liked my stuff a lot are like random. Like I'll say like even like I've gotten the most messages are from like girls who are probably at like some random college in like California that I've never heard of. And it'll be like, wow, like your voice is great, something, you know, whatever. Like
You never told me about that.
I definitely have.
No.
But it's like random, like like they're awesome, but they're like the unique type. They're not like whatever, like
the Beach Bunnies.
I guess, yeah. I don't know how to say it. Oh no, Beach Bunny. By the way, it's a band. Listen to Beach Bunny; they're amazing. But like same thing. It's like it attracts actually the type of people I really want listening to my music, which is really cool. But it wasn't who I expected out the gate to like listen to my music. I don't know.
But again, that's when the more content you do, the more you start realizing,
yes.
oh,
So,
this is the type of people I'm attracting. And either you fall in love with it or you're not. If you're not falling in love with it, then that's who you are attracting. So you have to do something differently. And if you're in love with whoever you're attracting, it's like, then show yourself way more.
well, sure, but yes, absolutely. But I think also if you are genuine, you're going to attract people like yourself.
Of course.
Like there's going to be some sort of similar interest. So like,
But so many, maybe you have to understand, so many people out there are not 100% genuine. They might be 50% and 50% following trends, or people pleasing, or 60-40, or 70-30.
Okay. It was like, okay, sure. Like, I think we're talking about two different things. So like when I say genuine, like you can be genuine and leverage trends as a tool.
Yes.
Like it's like, okay, for instance, in music,
I agree with that.
You do a cover song. Like, you know what I mean? If you, I hate doing covers, but like you do a cover song because, well, it's a song you like. And maybe that will attract people to you. You know, how many times have you seen, for anyone on here, like if you like hear someone covering like a Taylor Swift song, or like a Nirvana song or something, and it's like you go to the page and they're like their own band, their own identity, their own artist, whatever kind of thing. So what you were asking, it's like, I think the time to start is now, you know.
But I mean, even though that's a marketing strategy, because I've seen so many people that say like, oh yeah, you can start your video in Instagram or TikToks mentioning like, this is what Bad Bunny did, or this is what Cody Sanchez did.
Listen. If you love Bad Bunny,
then fucking do it.
then do it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
like if like for us, like for Celestial, it'd be like the Beatles, which is super generic, but like Neil loves the Beatles, and we're gonna do a cover of Here Comes the Sun. Yeah. It's like one of the things we're gonna do. It's like because that song also leveraged synthesizers in a way that hadn't been done before, and it's very unique, and like it makes sense with what we're doing. Like it's like, yeah, the Beatles are sick, you know, like two singers, just like Celestial, all this stuff, and then like, but I loved other bands, you know, and like it makes sense to like I could do a guitar video, like this is the tone that so and so used on this song, and we used it for this song, you know, so like it attracts people who are fans of whatever music inspired you or whatever inspired you. I think if it's true to who you are, great. I think, and you look, if you're a listener, like, and you are saying like, no, I leverage all these things as tools and I'm still genuine, then do that.
That's great.
Yeah. Like whatever works. Like, I don't care. I would never judge someone by leveraging something like that as a tool.
Of course not.
You know, it's a trend. It's like, there's a reason TikTok trends exist. And like the whole, like, dude, I saw the one the other day. It's like, I watched Monsters Inc. You know, like the beginning where like the kid's in the bed and he like wakes up and he's like confused because he's like looking at the door. He's like, what the fuck? It's like when the monster's trying to do it, but he's not scary or something. And like you can put your reel or your TikTok like in that like window, and it's funny. It's
of course, it's like CapCut, like
yeah, and
where there's videos where like something interesting is happening and suddenly you appear on frame like, oh, you thought that was gonna happen? Like, no, I'm here to say something or whatever.
Yes, exactly. I think use
That's
whatever
marketing.
whatever tools you want, but it has to be something you're actually interested in my opinion. Again, like,
Okay, but I want to talk about how you were being serious in your art but not serious in the business. Your journey about that.
yeah, well, it's definitely
Because
been
so
a journey.
many people
So there's a couple
get
things.
stuck on that.
There's a couple things. So, like Ellie said, like when I first released music, it got like a ton of listeners and a ton of attention. Like I didn't expect. Like I wasn't having record labels come sending me emails and stuff, but I could have reached out. I don't know, like, and so I kind of thought like, oh, music speaks for itself. Like this is not easy.
Which so many people think that.
Yeah.
Chefs, artists,
Yeah.
designers,
Yeah.
like so many people think that way.
Yeah, and then so the Celestial project started, and we played some shows, and it was cool, and like the music's, I mean, it's a dream come true. The music's amazing, in every way. It's go check it out. But like when we first released our first song, we had like I think 70 listeners the first day, and then after 30 days, we're like 36 monthly. And I was like, whoa, holy shit. Like, all right, like, and I get it. That's 99% of everyone, like 99.99% of everyone's journey in music and art. It doesn't suck. I know it doesn't suck. It's just that you have to get it into the right people. Like, you have to get it into ears. People have to hear it. You have to make an impression. There has to be a culture behind it. There has to be this whole thing. Like, when you build a fan base, like,
Okay, so sorry for interrupting. Something that I've learned is that if you're building something new, something that people have not fully heard before. So, for example, what happens with John Beach music, which is the folk side?
it's familiar.
It's familiar. People are used to the tones. People are used to the guitars. People are used to that type of genre.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take that much effort to pick on people's attention because
Yes.
that's something that they're used
It's
to.
like, oh, this person's good at this.
Exactly.
Versus, like, what are they doing?
Exactly.
Like it's a different thing. That's why I respect you so much with like the dream coach thing. I think anything that is a bit off the beaten path that you believe in and you feel dedicated to is worth it. Because look, like I hate saying this, but it's also true. It's like at the end of the day, like you might just create amazing stuff, help a few people, and that might be enough to be happy about. It's obviously not like the end goal. Like you want to leave a huge impact. We're human. We want to have a legacy.
No, but if you
stuff.
change one life,
It's
that
powerful.
life is going to change another life.
And you probably already have. If you're on this journey and you're committed to it, you probably already have changed a life. You already have like inspired somebody.
I know that.
Yeah, which is awesome. But I think with music and back the whole business thing, it's like you start out and you're sitting there in the studio with your friends and you just made this awesome project and you're like, holy fucking shit, like we made it. This is amazing. And you put
This
it out.
is something nobody has ever heard before.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is revolutionizing.
Revolutionary, yeah.
Revolutionary. The music industry. You release it and
Dud. Yeah. Not like a true dud. Like obviously, you said something awesome, and I've really taken a hold of this. Is like everything you put in, it's like a stock. It's like an asset. And it's going to grow over time. If you put it out there, it's going to grow. So you may, like for instance, and algorithms change all the time, and Instagram and TikTok and stuff. You put something out there. The other day, I put something out there like first 12 hours, like nothing. And then like after 72 hours, like I got a lot of views, likes, saves, things like that. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. Everything now, it's long term, and I think you should think about it as a long term thing. Like I don't get discouraged when we put out music and no one listens at first because I'm like, we have.
Or because what you're building is something that you're going to be doing for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Versus when you're building something that you want a quick win and you want it to make money within the first year. Like, then you're desperate. Then you're in need. And it's very different to be creating something out of need versus creating something out of passion and heart.
Well,
because that's what you're going to be doing for the next 10 years.
Well, I think that the line is you have to create this. Like there is no, like you need to do it. There's no like out of need is like the term I'm struggling with. It's like, okay, well, like Celestial, like my band, like I don't care if everyone quit Like I had to get a new group of dudes, which isn't going to happen, or girls, whatever.
I would love for you to talk about how long it took you to build your band, because I feel like that's something essential about team building and growing your dream as well.
Yeah. So I'll just tell the story of how we started. So like, we talked about it earlier, but I met Neil, who's the co-writer, Neil Lapola. He's the fucking man. I love him to death. He and I met at this show we were at, and it was funny because I got there at like 7, and his show started at 7:30. And I thought, I saw my friend, whatever, he was playing drums in the headlining band. And, I was just like kicking it, hanging out, whatever. And then the show starts, and it's like literally karaoke, the first like 3 sets. And I'm like, what is going on? This is a weird show. But whatever, I'm having fun. And I drank like 6 Modelo's. Like I'm just like chilling by myself. I'm like, I thought this would be more fun than it actually is. And eventually, like whatever, the place is filling out. And I'm like, signing my bar tab or something for like my 7th Modelo, and this giant dude's next to me, and we're like, I'm looking at the stage, and I just asked him, I don't know who talked to who first, but maybe he talked to me, I don't know, but like we started talking about like pedals, like guitar pedals and like instruments and stuff, and he told me, he's like, yeah dude, I got a studio, if you ever want to come and jam or whatever, let me know. Which was like very open of him. Like I know him very well. Like it's not something he like would just do randomly.
Inviting a stranger to your house.
Yeah, and obviously the music industry, like when you meet someone who's young, like typically like it's like their apartment, just like their studio set up in their apartment. So like I that night I got his Instagram or something, and I sent him a text, and I was like, or a DM, and I was like, hey dude, you got to listen to this album. I sent him a Beach Bunny album because it was what I was into at the time, and I was like, just listen to it front to back, like. I think
let me know what you think.
Yeah, and the next day he messaged me at like noon. He's like, dude, fucking amazing album. This is so cool. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like he actually listened to the whole thing. Went over there. The first day we made a demo of a song that was so unique because I come from this like sort of folk punk rock background, and he comes from this like Red Hot Chili Peppers like synthesizer, which are 2 different things, but like heavy synth nerd music, Berkeley and college music background. And we made this really cool demo. And I was like, holy shit, this is cool. And he had a band at the time called T-Pop. And they were doing some cool stuff, some originals and some covers. And I think we went to one of their shows. It was pretty cool. But the band was really cool. And he asked me one day randomly, he's like, hey, do you want to play a song at our next show? Like, we can do, like, we wrote a song together called In the Stars, which is off of our album. I was nervous as fuck. And I went to the rehearsal, and the dudes in the band were really cool. And the song, they liked the song a lot. It worked really well. And Neil and I just kept making music. We played the show. And it was probably in Neil's words, it was the best sounding song of the night. It was great. Everything worked out really well. I was so fucking nervous. I hadn't performed in like 3 or 4 years, like because of college and stuff. And like I was so nervous.
You were performing in front of how many people?
Oh, 15, 20,
But that's how it starts.
But it was people in the music industry. I knew. I mean,
exactly.
They're music nerds. Like they're my people. Like I didn't want to fail in front of them. And also,
okay, but I just want to picture this to the audience that you were playing in front of a lot of like Berkeley people, and you come from an engineer background where your music background is you playing guitar at your apartment.
Well, no, because I was in a band in high school. We played in front of tons of people.
Okay.
So I had
but that was what, like 10 years ago?
At the time, it was like 7 years ago or something like that.
That's a long time.
It was a long time, for sure. But I knew I had it in me. And again, it comes from like...
Yes, you have it in you, but...
It's the faith.
Yeah.
You have to have faith. Like, this is what I'm meant to do. I remember asking someone, like, do you get nervous before you play? And they were like, no, this is what I do. And I was like, wow, what a simple answer. Like, this is what I do. Like, there's no way around... Like, it's simple. Yeah, if I get excited, I get a little nervous, whatever, but like this is what I do. There's no way around it. So anyways, like to continue on with the story, we kind of just hijacked that band. Like T-Pop became Celestial.
You hijacked that band.
Yeah, but Neil too. I mean, Neil was like really pumped on Celestial. We started writing songs together, made really cool stuff. And within like a year and a half, we were already recording an album. It comes out May 2nd.
Okay, hold on.
May 2nd, Celestial Hope.
You're sleeping an ad in my podcast. Hold on.
I'm going to continue.
Just kidding. But I want for you to talk about how relationships are earned, respect is earned, because the whole band was not as invested from the first song versus everything you have done, every single action, every podcast episode, every show, every song, for the band to be like, oh wow, I want to be there.
Yeah,
I want
now
to be
it's-
part of it.
Yeah, I think
Which is something that like people get so disappointed or so like unmotivated because people are not following them. But the truth is, you need to lead yourself
Yeah.
for people to follow you.
Yeah, just believe it. I mean, if I mean, I hate to simplify it, but like, if it's what you want, if it's what you love, there's no other choice. Like, I used to, when I would meet with like people, like musicians or whatever, like we had 2 keys players. The first keys player, like I just didn't think was the right fit. He's a great dude, but like I remember like when the guitar player, for instance, he's one of the best guitar players I've ever met. Like super cool style, great stage presence, everything. It's a dream that he plays in Celestial. I remember telling him, like, he hit me up the other day. He's like, "Hey, do you need like any guitar work on this new song?" Flo showed me. Flo's our drummer and producer right now. And he'd shown this demo we were working on to the guitar player, who like obviously we talked to, but like I never push it kind of thing. Again, like to Ellie's point, like lead by example and like lead with your passion and all that stuff. Because like there's a bunch of people out there. If you need to build a new team, you're gonna be able to do it if you have the right passion. But he like messaged me. He's like, "Hey, do you need any guitar on this song?" And my response was like, "Dude, like I would love that, but only if you like really want to do it. Like if you really feel connected to the song." And his response was so sweet. He's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "I know totally what you mean." He's like, "This song's amazing. Like, I think it's so cool how you guys do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I'd love to be a part of it." Like, it's very important that you set the example of, like, look, this is...
The standard.
It comes from your heart. Like, if you don't actually believe in this, like, I don't want you to feel like you have to be there. Like, if you don't actually believe in it, but you're great at it and, you know, whatever, if I have to pay you to play a show with me, which sucks, but, like... You know, that's part of it, too, because, you know, I need to be able to get my music out there. I need to be able to perform. So if I have to get people who I just pay to play, fine, I'll do that. But the goal is to build a team. And I just got really lucky with the team. Again, like, I'm an extremely lucky person.
But it was not from the beginning. Like,
well, I mean...
Again, like, yes, it was from the beginning, but at the same time, they were not as invested.
Well, okay, you're fighting for their time. I would say as, like, an interest, they all seemed extremely interested from the beginning. They were all very on board. Like, I didn't have to pay them for shit. Like, it was like, oh, let's go do this live performance and record it. Like, I didn't pay them for that. I bought pizza and brought beer. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's because, like, I think...
But you brought a good energy.
I believed in it. And Neil and I, so there was trust in Neil, too, because he knew them before I did. But, like, this was something that was different, and I think there was a lot of potential in it. And it wasn't just, like, playing a wedding gig or, like, another pop star or something like that. Like, this was something...
Cover band.
Yeah, like, this is unique, and you're not going to get paid for it, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of potential here, and I think I gave off the vibe, and I've been true to this. Like, look, if you commit to this, like, there will be benefits for everybody. Like, we have this podcast. Like, the whole point of our Patreon for the podcast, like, all that money is going toward the band. It's going to recording sessions. It's going to production work, whatever, shows, touring, all that stuff. Like, and then at some point, if it ever gets to the point, like, everyone gets a paycheck. You know, like, it's a team effort, and I'm leading it for sure. I also believe in being very selfless. This may conflict with a little bit with what I think your message, like, you believe, like, people should, like, value themselves a lot. I do value myself a ton, but for me, music is so pure.
No, baby, I think it's like, yes, I think your biggest mission is to pursue music and to grow this band versus to get a paycheck.
But I'm also, like, to be honest, like, I'm a little bit of a communist, like, in that sense. Like, I'm not a communist, but, like, like, when I
Wise choice of
when
words.
I think of music, I genuinely believe if I do this the right way, my goal is to, if I play a show, we play a show, big Celestial show, you know, that money is split evenly between everybody. I don't give a fuck that I wrote all the songs. I don't give a fuck if I did the most in the performance. This is a beautiful thing, and we're part of something bigger than us. And we're just lucky enough to get paid for it. Like, that's how I look at music. And I could be shooting myself in the foot when I'm 80 and being like, fuck, I could have been so much more wealthy. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, I really think money will come.
Well, your characteristics, your charisma, your skills are going to bring wealth in other ways.
Yes,
regardless.
And also finding multiple streams of revenue. Like, that's a big thing. You know, like, if you're, and I'm speaking purely as, like, an artist, I guess, but, like, you know, if you're a business coach, do a podcast, have a Patreon, have a YouTube channel, do ads on Instagram, whatever the fuck you can. Like, you know, like all these different things, public speaking events, write a book, all, you know, like find multiple ways to make revenue to where, you know, it's just more of what you're doing that is valuable to people that they're willing to pay for. You know, I think music isn't.
No, I love this term of always over deliver.
Always over deliver. Always over deliver. Yeah.
Like, I literally have it written on the fridge, on our fridge. That John says, like, Ellie, I don't want our guests to be seeing these notes. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. This is who I am. If we're bringing them home.
Hold on. I don't say I don't want. I say this is kind of funny if our guest sees, like, whatever. I don't even know what you have on there that I made fun of. But it was like dream fucking
Well,
big.
I have a quote that says, money is... Oh, fuck. I forgot about it. But, like, money is... You can make money... Making money so fucking simple, something like that.
Yeah, like that written in our fridge. I just think it's funny. I think it's
so
great.
the reason I have that is because, again, I came from the limiting belief that I have to have this successful business in Semilla for me to be able to teach how to grow your dream, because I thought that was the evidence of, like, look, I've grown this, now I can help you grow yours. So, but by adding so many layers to money making, I was making it complex instead of being, you know what, I no longer, and this took me so much guts, like, it took me so many guts to say, you know what, I don't no longer align myself with this type of business, not because there's something wrong, but because I felt like I just was not meant to grow that anymore.
Well, you thought you could inspire people through fashion, but you realize, like, your true passion is to inspire people through, you know, communication and, like, a real relationship, I would say. Yeah,
yes,
which is
exactly.
like, that's very reasonable. I think, yeah, that's a differentiator for you, in my opinion.
But it took experimentation for me to discover it, which so many people don't dare to experiment and say yes and say no and close a business and grow another one and open another one. Like, I was going through my journey, and my first business was my makeup artist career, which was at 18. Which I had to close because I was coming here to the U.S. But I remember the first week that I arrived to LA, I was like, what if I apply to, like, a salon? You know? And they paid me under the table.
Yeah, it's super sucks that.
But I did not want it to risk my visa.
Yeah, that's super annoying.
But there were so many things like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's been a whole journey of experimenting, of 10 years of experimenting that brought me to, like, this is what I want to do. And same for you. Like, it took you so many things of, like, I remember when we were talking about opening a salsa business.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Thank God we didn't do.
Dude, what a nightmare. We were like, and we talk so much shit. That's one thing Ellie and I do. We'll talk a lot about what we're interested in. And then a year later, be like, yeah, no, I'm not really doing that anymore. But then now we are, where it's been like the past 3 years, it's been constant. This is exactly what we're doing. Or a year and a half, I'd say. Not 3 years. Because Celestial's only been around for like 2 years. And Derrumbando el Muro.
Derrumbando el Muro.
Derrumbando. I can't do it very well, so sorry. I think...
Say it.
Derrumbando.
Derrumbando.
Derrumbando el Muro.
Muro.
Derrumbando el Muro.
Perfect.
Cool. But yeah, I think these things take time, and it's funny because, like, if it aligns with your core, like your real self, like everything you wake up, you fall asleep thinking about, like, if you let yourself do that, you're gonna, like, obviously have resistance and doubts and all these things. But at the end of the day, I think if you practice that thought, if you, like, journal about it, think about it, pursue it, ingest energy into that, like, it is you're going to get to where you're meant to be in a way.
Okay, something I want to talk about is that an activity that we did was the Pinterest board. That at the beginning you were like, nah, that's...
Well, that's just me being lazy.
No, but you were like a little bit against it. You're checking your phone now?
Yeah, Neil's like bugging me about something. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'll wait for you.
We're good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I always give people shit for texting on my podcast too. It's funny. I wasn't
Really?
texting. Yeah. Oh yeah, Flo did it the other day. He's like, I'm looking up this shit. I was like, okay.
Okay, so we did this activity about the Pinterest board, and I want for you to give your opinion of how much it helped you narrow down, like, your expectations, what you want to share, who you are as a band, because I feel like not that many people are taking the time to truly understand their brand.
Yeah, let me talk about this a little bit. So like, we have an idea in our heads, and I think it takes energy, or you have to break through some sort of resistance to look at what is out there to help define you. Like, I think sometimes we think, oh, I'm this, but you doing the exercise of looking at things that have influenced you or may influence you or align somewhat with your thoughts can really help you better define what you're doing from a lot of different points of view. So like whether it's a marketing strategy or it's, I don't know, like in music, what like kind of sounds you want to use or what kind of art you want to use for your album art or your promotion and stuff like your social
what
media.
do you want it to be defined?
Yeah. Well, that process was, to make it simple, it's like it was really valuable. I think literally it's really motivating too, but like, I mean, all we did was just sit there and look up things that I felt like terms that I felt helped define Celestial on like Pinterest, and then saved a bunch of images that, helped define, what I thought aligned with us in a sense. And it helped with art. It helped with sounds I use for synthesizers and like spatial audio and all kinds of things that really just contributed to the overall. I hate the term brand.
I know you hate it.
But like, I guess the brand or the image of the project.
Okay, so this is where I want to come in, because something that I notice with a lot of dreamers and entrepreneurs is that they're not 100% clear on who they are, that's confusing to the audience. And when an audience is confused about who they are, they're not going to pay attention because they just don't understand it, and they don't have the mind space and they don't have the attention to understand it. But if you give them something that is like 1 + 1 = 2, clear as that, or 3 + 1 = 4, whatever it is, whatever equation, whatever you want to put it into your head, people are going to start paying attention. Which at the beginning, it takes so much time and effort because you have so many ideas and you want to be everything, but you want to be authentic, but you want to be genuine. And it just takes a full day of sitting down and being, yes, we're this, no, we're not this, and putting everything into like a presentable form that people can understand.
But that can change. Like, I think,
yes, it can evolve.
Yeah, it evolves for sure. But like, just go for it. Like,
but they are at least understanding what you are today, and tomorrow you can evolve. But they're understanding what you are today.
Yeah, and it's fun to look back, like when you find somebody or like in a music, like an artist, and like see what they were 5 years ago versus where they're at now. It's very fun. You feel like you grow with them.
Yes.
So I think don't be afraid to like put yourself out there and allow people to grow with you, because your audience is going to change and develop. Like, think about anything that's successful. Like, they started small. They had like initial. And what's funny is like, so for music again, like a band may start and they'll have like a fan base and it's local or something, and then they adapt and they get a new producer and stuff, and they grow up into something a little bit different. And like, but they get new fans along the way. They lose fans along the way, but they follow what they want, and they become whatever their goals are through time. So
seriously, like for example, this is a great example for me. Every time I post something about God, I don't know why I lose a follower. I just lose one.
Yeah, because a lot of people get turned off by religion. Yeah,
But
you don't want to be preachy.
no, but I'm not saying like, oh, my pastor said this at church. No, it's God. Like, whatever shape, form you want to give it. Like, some people are against it.
Yeah, you're evolving, and like,
Exactly.
you had a lot of faith in like the universe and all this stuff, and then you realize like, wait, I grew up with like a lot of, I was you were very religious growing up, and I think it's a beautiful thing in a lot of ways, and it just kind of came full circle for you.
Okay.
But that's who you are, and you're like, fuck them. Like if they're not gonna, that's just probably not very godly, But like,
No.
like if someone wants to unfollow you because you say something about God, it's like, all right, well, like, who cares? Like
who cares?
There's people
who
out there.
Cares?
Everyone's on social media. Everyone's like, there's an opportunity.
Haters
for
gonna
everybody.
hate.
Yeah. Haters are good. Honestly, if you're out there and you have a hater or two, that means you're getting attention from people who are
That
strangers.
means you're doing something good.
And if your friends are hating on you, well, that's normal because that happens.
Okay. Another topic that I want to talk about is your content. At the beginning, the only content you were putting out there was your music. But then you start realizing that, fuck, I have to bring people into my world for them to listen to my music.
Yeah, like cross-pollination is really good.
How your content creation journey has evolved and how did it started, and
Yeah. So I think in the beginning I just didn't know what to do, to be honest. Like,
who helped you?
you helped me a lot for sure, but it really comes down to just like fuck it, like post it. If you think it's good, do it. It's gonna get better. Like you're gonna look at posts from a year ago and be like, "What was I thinking?" But honestly, even like now, I look at posts from a year ago and I'm like, "Those are pretty solid." But like, I think it's just self-expression is really important.
So many people don't post because they feel like they have to do the perfect post.
That's ugly. That's a terrible, terrible thing. I think. Oh God! I mean, that's like a mental battle everyone has to go through. Of like, am I good enough, or do I look like a ridiculous person? Hold on. Like, I think I struggle. I wake up all the time, and I'm just like, God, do I look like an idiot? But at the end of the day, like, no, like this is who I am, and accepting that. Like, we're so influenced by perfection. Like, I get on TikTok.
We're so influenced. Okay.
Yeah, let me talk. You invited me on your show. I want to talk.
Okay, talk.
But like, we get on like TikTok or Instagram. Half my TikTok and Instagram is like movies. It's like the highest quality shit being overdubbed or, subtitles on like scenes or like real professional performances, And so like, what am I going to do? Like compare myself to that? It's like, no, there's a whole world out there of like DIY and, I don't know. Just don't. If you think it's right, if it's a true expression of what you're trying to get whatever point you're trying to get across, you should post it. You should have no fear because you're going to grow, you're going to get better, and it's going to be a fun journey for everyone to be on with.
Okay, so this is my perspective from content. You have to have your core content, like your zone of genius, I'll call it. In this case, my zone of genius is long form.
Zone of genius?
Zone of genius.
Oh, zone of genius, I see.
Your zone of genius is music. Like, you are amazing at music. Are you amazing at making Instagram reels?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've gotten way better. No,
you've gotten way better, but you're not an like Instagram genie that you can start like giving Instagram. How do you call it? Instagram advice.
Yeah, I mean,
like you can give advice on how to create content, but not Instagram advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
But
no.
you can
no,
give-
I see what you're saying.
you
Like,
can
how to
give-
go viral? Like, no, I have no idea.
You can give so much advice on how to create your genuine music, like from your heart.
Yep.
That's your zone of genius.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody needs to have their zone of genius content. It can be long term, it can be a podcast, it can be a YouTube, it can be music, it can be a movie, it can be like whatever you can think of. Like for example, for a chef, is their creation is their food. Actors, their creation is like when they're filming on camera. Artists is your music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like each one has their zone of genius. So for me, my son of genius is podcasting and like just talking about my experience. My son of genius, it's not short-term content.
Yep.
But that's Instagram and that's TikTok and YouTube Shorts, whatever. And whatever type of media comes along. Those short-term form of media are the ones that are going to bring leads into your core content, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why you're creating content, because you want people to start listening to your music. And creating content every day and posting every day, it's a form of promoting yourself. And it's not a form of like, hey, listen to my music. It's a form of, this is who I am today. Tomorrow, I might be posting a little clip about my music. Then the day after that, I can be posting a little bit behind the scenes. Then the day after that, so you're posting about the brand, the identity that you are.
Yeah, it's the journey.
For people to understand who you are and to be like, oh, damn, I truly want to listen to their music. Or, oh, I forgot that this band existed. I want to go back and listen to their music.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for people to like find us, like if they like a song or something and they just look us up, like, oh, wow, there's like so much here. You know what I mean? It's like I can really get to know these people. That's like how I feel. I think for us, it's about being
compound effect.
Yeah, the compound effect, exactly. Like genuine, and it takes longer, for sure. I mean, dude, we could go make a viral Instagram reel or TikTok, or try to, I think.
Yeah, everybody can truly try to, because there's so many Instagram courses about like making viral videos and everything like that. Like if you truly want to go viral in a month, you can. Like for real, you can. But sometimes that does not align fully with your brand.
Yeah.
Because
I think the long-term fans come from more genuine content.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I am. Like, I'm going off personal interest. Like, what keeps me hooked, or
like, for example, I see a lot of business coaching, and I might start doing some of that content, just out of pure curiosity to see the effects. Is that they go to a podcast studio, they record themselves like if they were filming a podcast, but they're truly not talking to anyone. Like they don't have a podcast. So they do
sucks.
podcast clips of them. Like
of course they do. It's so fucking annoying. It's so
no,
stupid.
It's not annoying because it's how
it's tricking
they learn.
people. Like, okay.
But how is that tricking people? Like if they're actually saying something valuable,
it's just
on
too much marketing, in my opinion. Like it's like, okay, like this is who this person is. This is my first impression of this person, and then I find out they're only trying to sell me something. There's no free content out there. There's no podcast. There's nothing for me to like fall in love with. Like they don't have genuine interests and passions and guests that align with that I can get to know and become a part of that community. It's just this facade, you know. Like they have something behind the scenes, but like.
But they're honest about it. They say it from the beginning.
They're like, this is not a podcast, but.
No, of course they don't start the Instagram clip like that, but on their stories they are honest about it.
Well, good for them if that works. I don't know. Whatever. Like nothing. No one knows for sure what's going to work or what's not going to work. I like truly believe, follow your heart, do what you love, believe in it, no matter what, and get better every day.
Get better every day.
Every single day, and love it. Like love it. Be really proud of it. Like it's amazing. Like we live in a time where you can, like, if you want to start a podcast.
You can.
Think about it this way. Like, the way I thought about it when we started ours, and, like, I'm amazed we have listeners. Like, at the Celestial Show. Like, not a plug. But, I'm amazed we have listeners. But, like, I remember thinking when we started, like, at least when I'm, like, 70, I can look back and be like, those were awesome times. You know, me and my buddies hanging out, like, making music, talking about all this cool shit we're doing.
Rooftop sessions.
Yeah, rooftop sessions, live performances, all these kinds of stuff. Like, it's purely because we have the ability to do it. Like, why would you pass up on that? Like I don't understand. If you have a voice and you want to share it, like, just share it. People will listen. If it's 10 people a week, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome that people actually want to hear you talk. Whoa, windy. People want to hear you talk for, like, an hour while they're doing whatever mundane shit they have to do. You know? Like, it's just, I think, just go for it. Like, there's no reason not to. You afraid of being judged? Who cares? At the end of the day,
who fucking cares?
like it is you, and if that's who you are, and you're afraid, if someone's gonna judge you based on that, like fuck them. Like that is not the kind of like people you want around you. Like you have to. I don't know. Like just you're gonna die one day. Just believe in yourself. Just go for it. Sounds like a motivational talk, but I genuinely feel that way.
But you hate motivational speakers.
No, I hate people who get paid a lot of money to show up and just talk shit.
That's so
for an
funny
hour.
because it's not talking shit though.
Let me tell you what I hate, and you love this shit.
I love it because one day I told John like, "Oh, I want to be a motivational speaker." He's like, "What? No, Ellie, no! Don't fall into the trap."
There are great motivational speakers out there. There are great motivational speakers. But then there's also I'm not gonna. I don't even know his name.
FYI, I do whatever I want.
Yes, yeah.
Like John's opinion is just an opinion.
100%. Ellie's my wife. Love her to death. We'll always love her. And the fact that she does what she wants is one of the reasons I love her. But I sent you this video. It was this dude.
Andy Elliott.
Oh my God. What's his name? Andy Elliott?
Yes.
And he's
Which
like
I saw him at Funnel Hacking Live and I actually liked it.
Okay, I'm sure it's cool. But like it's him going on stage and all these dudes like, yeah.
With
like,
short
jumping
shorts.
around. Like, and he's just
Jack
like,
dudes.
he's like, if you're not part of my club. And his like neck's popping out. He's just like, if you're not part of my club, you know, like you're not worth anything. Whatever. Like if you can't do this, then you're not part of my club. And I was just like, man, like this guy is. It's like there's so many people who've been lost and they've been abducted into these little cults, you know? And I think social media has made it more dangerous to where like you can manipulate more people. And I think that is a part of manipulation.
Okay, but
like,
what
if you're in college, hold on, let me just say this. If you're like in college and you don't have shit going for you, your grades suck, whatever, you work at a restaurant, and some guy motivates you and says like, hey man, you can come sell life insurance for me, or you can come sell solar panels for me, and you can make 10 grand a week. But you have to live this way. Like, that's kind of building a cult in a way. I've seen it. Like, it's a little manipulative. You're taking advantage of someone's insecurities, their weaknesses. Like, they don't have a lot of money or they don't have a lot of opportunity. And maybe you're giving them an opportunity. But at the same time, like, everything you do is just to make them richer.
But what if it actually upgrades your life?
It probably will.
Exactly.
But is that who you are? It's not helping you find out who you really are.
Well, what if it's just a stepping stone to finding who you are?
Sure, but I think those commitments require an all-in type of timeline. Like you're all in on that to be successful.
I just think that if it's something that's gonna upgrade your life for the moment, then do it.
I think it's worth going through hard times to find out who you really are.
Like me.
Yes.
Having a husband that says, "Get a job."
I don't do that. I don't do that.
At the
Hey,
beginning.
I was like, if you don't make money by this day, you should probably get a part-time job. You have an engineering degree. You can make a lot of money in like working part-time. Let's see what happens. And then here we are. And
you can be a quality engineer.
I just want to say, and we can end on this because I'm getting tired. I love you. I believe in you so much. I think what you're doing is amazing. And you've helped me in ways that I can't put down in an hour, 2 hour long podcast, whatever this is. You've changed my life in an incredible way. I'm really happy with where I'm at now, and I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you for what you've done for me. It's a testament to all you listening. Like it's having someone like Ellie in your life is really powerful, and I hope you have someone in your life like Ellie. But if you don't, she's there and she's spreading her information, and it's I think more people are going to start to think how you think, and there's going to be more information out there aligned with that. But I do think what you're doing is, from the time you started, has been a differentiator. When it comes to what's out there and what's available to people, you provide a genuine methodology in becoming successful and following your dreams. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for doing this, and you've inspired me every day. So, appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to end the podcast. And something that we do a lot in these episodes is how do you see yourself in the next, like what's next for you? Like how do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years? What do you want to manifest?
So I want to manifest just the opportunity to like have my music heard. I'd love to play shows, and we do play shows, but I'd love to play like some big shows where we can really make an impact. I really believe in Celestial as a project. It's all about hope and inspiring people, and no matter where you're at, you can get out of it, and truly being yourself. So I see myself, performing and making a serious impact in the music world.
That's amazing, baby. Well, thank you so much for coming, and I truly learned so much about being genuine to who you are, being next to you. So it comes both ways. 100%. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias a todos por escuchar. Sé que es un episodio súper diferente. Sé que es un episodio en inglés, pero siento que es dándoles más valor de lo que es Eli Ochoa y Derrumbando el Muro behind the scenes, porque John es gran parte de lo que se publica semana a semana. Y aquí les dejo esta joyita. Los veo en el próximo episodio. Bye, bye. Muchísimas gracias a todos por escuchar.
Ok. Yo sé que ya se acabó el episodio, pero antes de que le piques next, te quiero decir algo que es súper importante para mí, porque realmente necesito tu ayuda. Amo que sigas regresando una y otra vez a escuchar cada episodio. Si tú estás aquí, significa que tú deseas crecer tus sueños y wow, que lo estamos creciendo juntos. Y para todos los que son nuevos, bienvenidos a esta comunidad latina tan hermosa que se sigue expandiendo día con día. Espero cada historia te inspire a dar ese empujón semana tras semana, pero ahora yo necesito un empujón de ti. Te agradecería de todo corazón si compartes este episodio, que grites al mundo que este es tu podcast favorito, que te suscribas o que le pongas estrellita, like desde tu plataforma favorita. Y acuérdate que tu voz sí hace la diferencia, entonces ni le dudes. Por favor, ayúdame con este empujón y tu acto de bondad será mega agradecido. Muchas gracias. Los amo un chingo. Bye bye.